Every morning, as we open our eyes, our mind plunges into a stream of thoughts that surge like waves upon our consciousness. These thoughts are echoes of our problems, worries, and experiences stored deep within the brain as memories, patterns, and associations. Each issue is tied to a specific moment in time, place, person, or event that has left a mark on our memory. Our mind, like an archivist, begins sifting through these records, pulling us back to the past, to situations that sparked joy, pain, anxiety, or disappointment. These memories awaken emotions that, like colors, paint our inner state, setting the tone for the entire day. Thus, how we think and feel in the first moments after waking shapes our mood, decisions, and perception of the world around us. The emotions triggered by past experiences can instantly alter our state. A single thought about an unresolved work task, an unpleasant conversation, or a lingering grudge is enough to evoke tension. This tension manifests physically. Our heart races, muscles tighten, breathing becomes shallow. Our body becomes a conduit for these emotions, amplifying their impact. If we fail to recognize this process, our state begins to control us, turning the day into an extension of yesterday's struggles. We find ourselves trapped in a cycle where the past dictates the present, and habitual thoughts and feelings shape a predictable future. This cycle becomes automatic, like breathing, and we rarely pause to consider how it limits our lives. If we do not break this pattern, the familiar past becomes the only script for our existence. When we believe that our thoughts and emotions define our destiny but cannot transcend them, we remain tethered to old patterns. It is like replaying the same tune on a scratched record, too afraid to compose something new. Our mind, constrained by past experiences, prevents us from dreaming beyond familiar feelings. We cling to the known, even if it brings pain, because the unknown feels even more daunting. As a result, we continue to create the same reality, where each day mirrors the one before, and new possibilities remain out of reach. For many, the morning begins with a ritual, reaching for the phone. This habit has become an integral part of our lives. We check messages, scroll through social media feeds, read news, or respond to emails. We post updates, share selfies, and like others' content, as if trying to convince ourselves and the world that we are connected. But this process rarely inspires. Instead of starting the day with a clear mind and fresh ideas, we dive into a digital reality that reinforces our ties to the past. Scrolling through others' posts, we compare ourselves to them, sparking envy, irritation, or fleeting satisfaction. These actions become as automatic as brewing coffee or brushing teeth, and we seldom question why we do them. We begin the day already immersed in familiar patterns that dictate how we think, feel, and act. Our lives often devolve into routines where every step is predictable. We rise from bed, head to the bathroom, prepare breakfast, sip coffee, shower, dress, and commute to work along the same route. At the workplace, we tackle familiar tasks, interact with the same colleagues, and respond to events with standard emotions: irritation at delays, joy at praise, anxiety before deadlines. This repetition becomes a program that governs us like an invisible autopilot. By age 35, research suggests about 95% of our personality consists of ingrained habits, beliefs, reactions, and behavioral patterns that operate automatically. Only 5% of our consciousness remains open to new ideas, to desires for happiness, health, and freedom. Yet even this 5% is often suppressed by the body, which follows an old program, like a computer executing preset code. Why does this happen? Our body, accustomed to specific emotions and states, becomes their captive. If we've spent years responding to stress with irritation or anxiety, the body comes to see this as normal. It craves familiar chemical reactions, bursts of adrenaline, cortisol, and we unconsciously return to them even when we wish to feel differently. This creates an internal conflict. The mind yearns for change, but the body pulls us back to the familiar. For instance, trying to stay calm in a stressful situation may meet physical resistance. The body knows how to react and launches its usual script. This clash between mind and body is one of the main reasons change is so difficult. To break this cycle, we must move beyond the analytical mind, which separates the conscious from the subconscious. The analytical mind excels at problem solving and planning, but often hinders us from seeing the bigger picture. It clings to logic rooted in past experiences, stifling our ability to envision something new. This is where meditation comes in, a powerful tool that slows brain waves and immerses us in a state where we can observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. It acts like gaining access to the operating system of our mind, where the programs controlling our behavior reside. By practicing meditation regularly, we learn to reprogram ourselves, replacing old patterns with new ones. For example, instead of automatically reacting with irritation to a traffic jam, we can train ourselves to remain calm, consciously choosing a different response. Meditation demands discipline and time, but its impact is profound. It teaches us to be observers rather than participants in the endless stream of thoughts. We begin to notice how often our mind drifts to the past, conjuring negative emotions. We see how the body responds to these thoughts, craving familiar chemical states. By recognizing this, we can step back and say, "This isn't me. It's just a habit." This approach empowers us to take control of our reactions and gradually rewire the brain's neural pathways. Studies show that regular meditation boosts activity in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-control, and reduces activity in the amygdala, linked to emotional reactivity. This literally reshapes our brain, making us more resilient to stress and open to change. Many wait for a crisis, illness, loss, trauma to prompt change. This is understandable. Intense pain forces us to reassess priorities. But why wait for extremes? Change is possible not only in moments of suffering but also in states of joy, inspiration, or a simple desire to live better. Sadly, most people spend up to 70 of their lives in chronic stress, anticipating the worst. They mentally rehearse negative scenarios, arguments, failures, illnesses based on past experiences, and their body reacts as if these events are happening now. Fear, anxiety, and anger become constant companions, and we grow dependent on these emotions like an addiction. This survival mode blocks us from dreaming, creating, and enjoying life. The body, as an unconscious mind, cannot distinguish reality from imagination. When we dwell on the worst outcomes, conflict, loss, failure, the body triggers the same chemical processes as it would during a real event. The heart races, muscles tense, breathing quickens. We reliving in a future that hasn't yet arrived, yet it already poisons our present. This creates a vicious cycle. Thoughts spark emotions. Emotions reinforce thoughts, and we remain trapped in the past, often without realizing it. To escape, we must embrace the unknown as an opportunity. Instead of fearing an unpredictable future, we can use imagination to craft the reality we desire. Imagine closing your eyes and picturing yourself in a new scenario, confidently speaking to an audience, traveling the world, radiating health and happiness. By mentally rehearsing these scenes, you rewire the brain as neural connections, as if the event has already occurred. The brain doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality, so this practice prepares you for a new future rather than anchoring you to the past. It acts like training for a big event. The more you visualize success, the more confident you feel when the moment arrives. Neuroscience research confirms that visualization activates the same brain regions as real actions, building neurological hardware for the future. The hardest part is teaching the body to emotionally experience this future. We cannot wait for external circumstances, success, love, healing to feel confidence, happiness, or relief. The quantum model of cause and effect teaches that our inner state shapes our outer reality. When you feel abundance, you attract wealth. When you embody strength, you move towards success. When you experience wholeness, healing begins. This isn't magic but a law of nature. The energy you project shapes your experience. We become creators of our lives, not victims of circumstance. When we take responsibility for our thoughts and feelings, realizing that our thoughts are not always true is the key to freedom. Each day, we have 60, 0 to 70, 0 thoughts, 90 of which are recycled fears, beliefs, and ideas from the past. If we believe these thoughts define our destiny, we doom ourselves to stagnation. Meditation helps us observe these thoughts without identifying with them. We learn to ask, why do I think this? Does this thought serve my happiness? Can I choose another? It is like tending a garden. We pull out the weeds of old beliefs to plant seeds of new ideas. Over time, we become more aware, noticing when automatic reactions try to take over and choosing conscious actions instead. Without a vision for the future, we revert to old habits, letting our environment control us. If we wake up without setting goals, dreaming, or planning, we see the same people, do the same tasks, and feel the same emotions. Our reality becomes a reflection of the past, not our aspirations. Meditation helps us disconnect from external stimuli, noise, notifications, chaos. Sitting in silence, closing our eyes, and focusing on our breath, we quiet the brain, giving it a break from the constant influx of information. It acts like rebooting a computer. We clear the RAM to run a new program. When the body craves familiar emotions, irritation, anxiety, we can bring it back to the present. For example, if at 8 a.m. you're usually rushing but now sit in meditation, the body may resist demanding activity. By noticing this, you can say, at 8 a.m. I choose calm. This strengthens your will, letting you master the body rather than obey its impulses. With practice, this becomes easier, and you stop being an automaton, becoming a conscious creator. You see how your thoughts and actions shape reality, and this realization brings immense freedom. Brain scans validate this process. Studies show that regular meditation rewires neural connections, boosting areas tied to self-control, mindfulness, and emotional resilience. We can predict these changes like a programmer anticipates code outcomes. Gradually, we free ourselves from emotions that tie us to the past, stepping into a new reality where energy fuels creation, not regret. This is the path to freedom, happiness, and a life where each day offers a chance to become better than yesterday.